So, Shannon, do you agree with these 4 points? I got a little Lakers going on today here.
Goat man. Yeah, that's him. Of course. I've been trying to tell y'all for the longest. But y'all don't want to hear that now. Jenny, you remember all the stats that Skip just gave you about Dak Prescott? Oh, look at his record against teams that's over 500. Look at what he's done on the road. He's this and that. But then next level stats, oh, but he's number one in downfield throws. He's number two in tight window throws. Now, we love next level stats if they support our argument. But I would say, Skip, what about that record? What about that win-loss record? But against the great teams. See, Skip and those in Jordan's camp, all they say is 6-0. Well, what about the years that he did make the playoffs and they didn't win the finals, right? So in 80s, when they were going to the playoffs and getting swept, or we just discount that? So nothing else matters. When you debate Jordan fans, nothing else matters. 86 doesn't matter, 85 doesn't matter, 87, 88, 89, 90, none of that matters. The only thing that matters is when Jordan got to the playoffs. Well, damn, there were years that he was in the NBA, made the playoffs, and got beat in the first round, or got beat in the second round. But that doesn't matter. Only thing that matters, he's 6-0. Everybody knows, just like that stat they had, the better passer. Nobody that watches the game of basketball thinks Michael Jordan is a better passer than LeBron James. But the fans did. Skip, LeBron scores better than what people think. And Jordan is an elite level scorer. Top notch, no doubting that. But LeBron James averages 29 points a game for a playoff career. I mean, let that sink in. I think Kevin Durant is slightly high. I think Kevin Durant's like 31, 32. Jordan is 33. But when you look at all around and what he's been able to do as far as points, as far as rebounds, as far as assists, as far as creating opportunities for other players on the court, it's not even close. It's not even close. Is Jordan the more dominant scorer? Sure. But that's the only decided edge that Jordan has over LeBron. Because when it comes to rebounding, when it comes to assisting, running a team, LeBron might be only behind Magic Johnson when it comes to that. I still think he's a top 3 passer and not to be a true point guard. So for me, Skip, I didn't really need this to tell me what I already knew, that LeBron GOAT James is the best player in NBA history. And this closes the case for me.
This silliness closes the case. That makes me
silliness now.
Thank you. I needed a good laugh on this Memorial Day morning. Shannon Sharpe, allow me to refute this lunacy point by point.
Refute
First
it.
of all, makes his teammates better. As Phil Jackson once told me in 1998 in Chicago, if Michael needed to average 10 assists a game, he would. In 1988, Michael Jordan averaged 8 assists a game. This is the first year LeBron's ever averaged 10-plus assists for a season. So I've always told you, LeBron's still the best passer in basketball. I'll give you this. He's a little better passer than Michael was because Michael did not obviously focus on passing. But when you can average 8 assists for an entire year, you can flat out pass the basketball. That same year that he did that, he was also Defensive Player of the Year. So we're not even going to get into that right now. But the reason I love The Last Dance so much is that it showed you behind closed doors how Michael Jeffrey Jordan was the greatest leader/motivator we've ever seen in any team sport. He was more the coach of those Bulls than Phil Jackson was. It was Michael preying on the weaknesses of many of the players on the team, creating strengths by toughening them up with practice ridicule and constant needling and cajoling. And you can call it bullying if you want to call it that, but it worked. It was positive bullying, and none of them hated it. None of them have carried it into the future where they now hate Michael Jordan. I don't think Horace Grant even hates Michael Jordan because he won 3 championships with him. And the proof was in the pudding of 6-0 in the finals. And to quote the great LeBron James, one of his most infamous quotes from 2016, We're top-heavy as bleep because that Cleveland team had Kyrie and Kevin Love and LeBron and a bunch of garbage from there on down, said LeBron James publicly. Way to go. That's real, true leadership, LeBron. Well, guess what? All of Michael's teams were top-heavy as bleep. He won championships with Steve Kerr and Judd Buechler and John Paxson. These are just guys. And Luke Longley and Bill Winnington and Will Perdue. These are just guys. And Scott Burrell and Randy Brown. These are just guys, Shannon Sharpe. And with a Scottie Pippen who did not have what I call winner's intangibles. Michael toughened up Scottie and made him into a great Robin. And Michael kept Dennis Rodman barely in bounds. Dennis would, when he did show up, and he did show up for all the right times and the right games, he played hard for Michael, not for Phil, for Michael. So you can't tell me that Michael didn't routinely make his teammates better on and off the court than LeBron did. Now, let's go to point number 2, and this is my favorite one, if I could please. This idiocy that LeBron didn't lose in the first round of the playoffs. In Michael's first 3 playoffs, he met the 59-23 Milwaukee Bucks of Sidney Moncrief and Terry Cummings, both all-stars. That was a really good team in 1985. That was Michael's second year in the league. Then in 86, he runs into Larry Bird's Celtics. It's the team Larry said was his best Celtics team. It went 67-15 and won the NBA Finals. Any shame in that? I think not. Then the same Larry Bird Celtics the next year. Any shame in that? They went 59-23. I think not. Meanwhile, over on the other side of the ledger, in the Eastern Conference, in his first 12 years, LeBron James ran into nothing but garbage in the first round. If you add up the records of all of LeBron's opponents in the first round in the first 12 years, it's 490 to 478. It's barely over 500. So Michael's records of his first 3 finals that he lost in the first 3 playoffs he lost in the first round was 185 and 61. So it's not even close. He's running into the beasts of the East back in his day versus the least of the East in LeBron's day.
But he's the GOAT.
Well, he...
Hold on, Skip. No.
He started showing
wait a minute. No.
In 88, he started showing you GOAT.
No. He's the GOAT. Because that's what I said. I said, Skip, you have to look at what LeBron is running to in the finals. He's running to 4 Hall of Famers with the Spurs. He's running into 4 Hall of Famers with Golden State. No, he's the GOAT. He's got to win. If Michael Jordan is the GOAT, if that's what you're telling me, you've got to beat the big 3 Celtics. You talk about the Bucks. Really? You talk about the Bucks? Is that what we're talking about?
59-23, really. They were one of the best teams in basketball. They had like the second best record in the league that year. What are you talking about?
Wait a minute. Hold on.
We're talking about 1985.
I know what it was. I remember, if I'm not mistaken, 1985, Sidney Moncrief was Defensive Player of the Year. But I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about the GOAT.
You just did.
You tell me he's the GOAT. Everybody, hold on. So why didn't that strategy work? You tell me that Phil Jackson wasn't the coach, or Michael Jordan was the coach. Why didn't they win until Phil got there? If he's the coach, if he's the GOAT, so now he's the GOAT player and he's coaching, and they can't get out the first round. Why?
They're up against dynasties. The Larry Bird teams in 86 and 87 were sensational. The 87 Celtics lost to Magic and the Showtime Lakers in 6 games in the finals. It's hard when you're growing up in the league to have to overcome that team with Bird and Parrish and McHale and DJ and Ainge, and I can go on and on down the line.
So if you don't mind me asking, so him running into by himself, running into Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, and Ray Allen. So what was that? Were they any good? Or any of those guys going to end up in Springfield? I just need to know which one of those guys will end up in Springfield. Oh, all 3 of them.
Okay.
That's what he was running into. See, but hold on. And when he's running up against Golden State, now they said Golden State got 2 LeBron James have lost in the finals to 5 of the top 7 teams. Wow. Now, Michael Jordan, you make all these excuses. 59 and 23, the big 3 Celtic. Skip, if he's what you said he is, what you've told me is that LeBron James is the GOAT. He's got to be Kevin Durant, Steph, Clay, and Draymond. That's what you told me. You told me if he's the GOAT,
time out.
he's got to take down Tim Duncan.
Wait. No. You're changing the subject once again. I'm refuting the points of this piece that you said just closed the case. The piece just said, point number 2, LeBron never lost in the first round of the playoffs.
He did.
Because he's in the Eastern Conference. Michael Jordan's biggest battles came in the Eastern Conference. Go look at Pacers in '98 in the Eastern Conference Finals. You could argue that was really the NBA Finals, not Malone and Stockton in Utah in the real finals.
Skip.
I'm just refuting the point. You're changing the subject.
No, Skip, you keep telling me if Jordan is the GOAT has to get out the first round, regardless of who. That's what you tell me. Regardless of who you play, you've got to get out of the first round. And he's got to take a game. You mean to tell me the GOAT can't get a game off old Larry Legend? Oh, no, Kevin McHale and Parrish? He can't win one game?
Yeah, LeBron's Cavaliers in his first stint in Cleveland, they couldn't have won a game off Larry Bird. You love Larry Bird. He's your favorite player growing up.
This ain't got nothing to do with what I like. I'm just asking you. You tell me he's the GOAT. Okay, he's the GOAT. Okay. GOAT's got to be able to win one game. Point number 3. Whoever this was says, oh, wait a second. LeBron scored more playoff points than Michael Jordan.
Yeah. LeBron's played 60 more postseason games than Michael played. 60 more games.
Yes.
And you brought up the case closer for me. Michael averaged in those 60 fewer games 33 a game. Michael, and yet LeBron in his games, 60 more games, has averaged 29 a game. Well, okay, Michael led the playoffs in scoring 10 times in his career. 10 times. LeBron's only done that 3 times, where you averaged the most points in the postseason. So what am I supposed to do with that? That's just a joke. It's actually a point for me. It's a big GOAT close the case point for me. And then finally, we get to go ahead.
How many times? Because here's the thing, Jordan's main responsibility was to score. How many times did Jordan lead his team in assists? How many times did he lead his team in rebounding? LeBron had more responsibility overall than what Jordan had. If they just said, LeBron, all you got to do is score. Get a rebound here and there if you can. Get an assist here and there you can. Just score. It's hard for me to believe that a guy that's doing all of that can't average 30-plus points a game.
Michael Jordan was a defensive player of the year. He was first team all defense 9 times. He led the league in steals 3 times. And you're telling me all he had to do was score? Baloney. Then you don't get it.
Skip.
Case closed for me.
Hold on. Let me ask you a question. So LeBron James has never been on the all-defensive first team. Is that what you're telling me?
No. How many times? In 17
6
years. That's
Skip,
not good enough.
6.
That ain't goatish.
But hold on. Yes, it is. Hold on. First of all, Skip. And you know the year that Pau Gasol's brother won, Mark Gasol won it. Skip, how do you win the Defensive Player of the Year and you don't even make first team all defense? How is that possible? Skip, that's like somebody winning the MVP and they don't make first team all pro. How is that possible? Exactly. It should not have happened. I do care because he was robbed.
I don't care. Oh, you have me confused with someone who really cares. Now, point number 4. This is actually slightly in your favor. I'm going to give you this one. Whoever this guy is points out that LeBron's shooting percentage over his career is 50.4 from the field. Okay.
Yeah.
So Michael was 49.7. So you got him. 49.7 to 50.4.
Got it.
But if you eliminate the last 2 years in Washington when Michael was 39 and 40 years of age. If you eliminate those two after he took 3 years off, 3 years off to finish out as almost a ceremonial player in D.C. Now, oh, wait a second. That boosts up Michael if you just do Chicago. That boosts him up to 50.5 from the field. free-to LeBron's 50.4. Gotcha. Thank you. And if we throw in free throw. Yeah, go ahead.
No, they factored in free throws, Skip. They factored in free throws. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the 2 years in which LeBron was a teenager, playing with grown-ass men. See, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take those first 2 years when he was a teenager, playing a boy playing amongst men. I'm going to take those away. And so now guess what we ask Skip? We way on up there in front of him.
Shannon, LeBron James was a grown-ass man when he was like 12. Seriously.
No.
See, yes, he was.
My guy, think about it, Skip. My guy, 18 years old, paying light bill, phone bill, cable. He ain't calling home and ask mama to send stamps. He ain't ask mama to send dish detergent so he can wash clothes. He paying rent. He paying mortgages, car notes. That's what my 18-year-old homeboy doing. So he got him in shooting efficiency. He got him in first round and shot creation. So about a 3-1.
And finally,
Go James it is.
Michael Jordan, the true GOAT, shot 85% for his career from the free throw line. LeBron is way down at 74%. Case closed. GOAT versus phony GOAT.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.